transferred to Manchester United now.
Football prediction.
Power Rangers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Football prediction.
Hi, it's Peter Getz, and I'm here with the Moose for another episode of the Bundesliga 1 footballpredictions.net podcast, covering matches from the 25th to the 27th of April, 2025. And you can see the details for all the games we're about to discuss in this podcast via the clickable links in the description on footballpredictions.net, alongside the fixtures from just about every other football competition in the world from A to Z.
Yes, and on our website, it will show you where to watch games on local broadcast channels, plus video streaming services, as well as match odds from local bookmakers. Look in the description of this podcast episode for direct clickable links to all of the matches we are about to discuss. If you're streaming any matches on Bet365, geolocation and live streaming rules apply. 18 plus, gamble aware.
And first up, we've got Stuttgart in 11th position, taking on Heidenheim, who is 16th. It kicks off on Friday, the 25th of April at 7:30 in the evening. That's UK time. Click the link in the description of this podcast, and you'll be able to see your local kickoff time, betting odds, and broadcast streaming channels tailored to your location for this match. This one you can stream live on Bet365. To qualify for that, all you need is funds in your account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. And when you join, use the bonus code FP365. I think in the UK, this one's also available on Sky Sports. Well, Moose, this could be an interesting game because not much to cheer about recently for either side the last couple of weeks.
No, although last weekend did have a cracking game for Stuttgart because 4-4 at Union Berlin. Not only was it 4-4, so 8 goals, but all 8 goals scored in the first half. So that was a pretty crazy game from that perspective. Now, but yeah, they're not in form, Stuttgart, and also they are pretty much out of the picture for European spots in the Bundesliga. Not too much to play for there, but they do have a game in the DFB Pokal coming up, which is going to be their main focus, basically, because that is the final against Arminia Bielefeld. So yeah, that's their carrot for the end of the season, Stuttgart. So yeah, they want to obviously keep in form, but they're playing a Heidenheim team here that has got everything to play for because they're still very much under a relegation threat, but their form doesn't really indicate that they are down there battling. They've not scored in the last 3 matches, a 1-0 home defeat to Leverkusen, followed up by a 3-0 away defeat at Frankfurt. And then last weekend, they lost 4-0 at home to Bayern Munich. We had Bayern Munich to win in that game. And in the last away game at Frankfurt, we also had the outcome of Frankfurt to win. But yeah, as for Stuttgart, really mixed bag. They're not in great form. They've only won 1 from 9. And at home, they've actually lost their last 5 matches in a row. Both teams to score matches, it has to be said, and over 2.5 goals. So they're very entertaining when Stuttgart is playing at home, but it's not been so entertaining for the home fans of late with 5 defeats on the trot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, fixtures, I should say, with Stuttgart involved have been pretty entertaining, haven't they? This last sort of 6 games they've scored, there have been 27 goals scored for both sides, of course. That's an average of 4.5 goals per game. And 15 of those have been from Stuttgart as well. So, yeah, a lot of goals have been flying around. For this one, we are going for both teams to score prediction. The odds there are currently 1.67. And for the correct score, we're expecting a lot of goals. We just said we think Stuttgart will get the win, so the home side to win. Correct score, we've gone for 3-1, and the odds there are 11. That's 10-1 on a 3-1 correct score prediction. All the odds for the game, you can get Stuttgart at 1.48. That's what we think will happen. Finishing all square for a draw, it'll be odds of 5, and Heidenheim are there at 6. So, I mean, a draw is interesting, but yeah, we think it'll be both teams to score. Should be a lot of goals. We could even look at over 2.5 for this one. Moving on to the next match, which is Bayer Leverkusen, who are in second, of course, taking on Augsburg, who are in 10th. It's on Saturday, this one, the 26th of April. It's at 2:30 p.m. and that's UK time. Check the link in the description of the podcast and you'll be able to find your local kickoff time, betting odds and broadcast streaming options available to you in your area. This game is going to be great to watch and it's on Bet365. To qualify to watch on there, all you need is funds in your account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. When you sign up, use the bonus code FP365. Now, this is very fascinating, this game, isn't it? Because, along with the other match. This is going to decide potentially who wins the title. And Leverkusen seem to be kind of stuttering towards the finish line, don't they?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to Bayern, doesn't it? With Leverkusen's last few matches ending in draws, like last week, away game at St. Pauli, a team really that they should be beating in the battle for the championship, but it ended a 1-1 draw. Our main prediction was both teams to score, so we did have it down as a both teams to score game. But then before that, the last home game ended a 0-0 draw against an Union Berlin side who really had nothing to play for. So quite disappointing from a Leverkusen perspective. Again, on the goals market, we had under 2.5 goals in that game. So that was correct. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. This one, probably when we look back at the St. Pauli game and the Union Berlin game, both ending in draws. They're playing an Augsburg team here who's really, really tricky to break down. They've only conceded 7 goals across the last 14 games. And during those 14 games, they've only lost once. That was a home game to Bayern Munich. So yeah, it's a really, really tricky team to beat Augsburg. And last time out, he had a draw at home to Frankfurt. And we had the outcome correct on that game because we had it down for a draw. Previous game, both teams to score. Prediction at Bochum, it ended 2-1 to Augsburg. And then in that home game against Bayern Munich, we had Munich to win and both teams to score. But yeah, for Augsburg, like I said, really, it's a really tricky team to beat. It's a really tricky team to break down. This is not going to be an easy task for Leverkusen. Could the championship be decided this weekend? We will see. If Leverkusen drop points and Bayern wins, then Bayern also wins the championship. So anything but a Leverkusen win here pretty much plays it into the basket of Bayern Munich.
It does. And we think it could go a bit closer to the wire, though. We're going to go for a Leverkusen win. They've got to win to keep their hopes alive. But we're going for an under 2.5 goals tip. So odds there of the under 2.5, you can get at 2 at the moment. For the Leverkusen win, 1.36. And for a correct score, we're thinking that they might be able to overcome being at the Bay Arena, Augsburg, fairly comfortably. We've gone for 2-0 to the home side. Your odds there are 6.5. Other odds available, apart from the win at 1.36 for Leverkusen, 5 for a draw and 8.5 for an Augsburg surprise away win. I mean, a draw could be a possibility considering the recent form of both of these sides, because they both drawn last week, and week before Leverkusen drew at home to Union Berlin 0-0. So we'll see how it goes, but we think that Leverkusen might be able to keep the title race alive for at least one more week anyway. We'll see how that one goes. Next, we've got, of course, the other one, Bayern Munich, top of the table, taking on Mainz, who are 6th. And it's on Saturday, the 26th of April. It's at 2:30 in the afternoon. That's in the UK. Click the link in the description of this podcast and you'll be able to see your local TV channels, kickoff time and odds. This one you can see on Bet365. You can get the live stream, qualify for that. All you need is any funds in your account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. Sign up with the bonus code FP365. Well, Moose, Bayern Munich got back on track, finally got a win, and the first one since the 4th of April in all competitions. Not sure if Mainz will be able to break their losing streak, or not winning streak, I should say.
Yes, Bayern Munich bounced back well from that Champions League disappointment against Inter Milan. They got knocked out of the Champions League, then they went to Heidenheim and beat them 4-0 on the weekend. So that was a quite convincing win there for Bayern Munich. We had the outcome correct of that game. And like we just said with Leverkusen, look, if Bayern Munich win this one and Leverkusen drop points, then the championship is all but decided could it happen this weekend? Well, we predicted Leverkusen to win, so it could be another week in waiting. But if we look at the two teams, yeah, Bayern Munich, they did have a disappointing Champions League quarterfinal against Inter Milan. They lost at home. Then the draw away from home wasn't enough. They got knocked out. In between that, they had a 2-2 draw against Borussia Dortmund. We had both teams to score in that game as our main prediction. It ended 2-2. If we look at the opponents from Mainz was on a really, really good run up until beginning of March. They were in the Champions League spots. They looked very good. They had a good-looking fixture list as well for the remainder of the season. But now they're going to probably miss out because the last 4 matches does include games against the top 3 sides from Mainz's perspective. And they've now not won in 5 matches in a row. Last weekend, they dropped points again at home against Wolfsburg. That's their 3rd home draw in a row, where they also dropped points against Holstein Kiel at the bottom of the league, and Freiburg away from home. It's now 2 defeats in a row at Hoffenheim and Dortmund. And yeah, we think that they might struggle at Bayern as well.
Yeah, it's kind of to be expected at Bayern, isn't it? And Mainz haven't beaten Bayern away from home in the last 8 league matches, which won't surprise anyone. But just looking actually at the head-to-heads here, in the last sort of half dozen games stretching back to the early 2023, there have been 28 goals in the games, average of 4.67 goals per match. It's a lot of goals. I mean, I know it's just a stat, but in this one, going into it, Bayern have been scoring a lot of goals. They scored 4 away from home last week, and they scored a couple in their draw, didn't they, against Dortmund. They scored that 3 against Augsburg away. They scored 3 at home against St. Pauli. So we think this is going to be another high scorer. We think there'll be goals, maybe over 2.5, but we've gone for both teams to score in this one. You get odds of 1.75 for that, but we think Bayern will win. You can only get odds of 1.22 if you're going to back them. But yeah, you think they would be heading for a victory. And for a correct score prediction, we've gone for 3-1. Odds there you can get, which is pretty good, I think, of 10. That's 9-1. And regarding the other odds, 1.22, like I said, for Bayern to win, 7 for a draw, quite high. Very high. And mine's 11. So it could be something to think about. But I mean, maybe Bayern will get nervous, but they don't tend to. McCain will be getting nervous, that's for sure. Anyways, so that's what we think will happen. And we'll move right on to the next game, which is Hoffenheim in 15th, who are taking on Borussia Dortmund, who are in 7th place. Kicks off on Saturday, the 20th of April at 2:30 in the afternoon UK time. On footballpredictions.net, you can see your localized kickoff time, odds, TV channels. It's all in the description of this podcast if you click in the links there. This one, you can stream it on Bet365 to qualify for that. All you need is funds in your account, anything, or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. Sign up with the bonus code FP365. Now, Dortmund have been kind of getting back on track, whereas I know they're at home, but they've been streaky, haven't they, in all their form?
Yeah, but at home, they actually won the last match, and that was also the first win since we beat Bochum away. The last home game ended 2-0 win against Mainz, in which both goals were scored in the first half. But yeah, Hoffenheim, that was their only win in the last 6 games. And in general, their form hasn't been great. But they've just done enough to probably stay in the Bundesliga, stay out of the relegation playoff. They got 8 points down to Heidenheim in 16th, only 4 matches to go. And I guess Heidenheim would probably not pick up 4 wins from the last 4. So Hoffenheim looks pretty comfortable, 8 points adrift there from Heidenheim. But yeah, they're playing a Dortmund team that's kind of gotten up to now 7th in the Bundesliga. They're only 4 points from the Champions League spots. And that is obviously worth fighting for from a Dortmund perspective. They got 4 matches left away to Hoffenheim, a game really that they should be winning. Then they got home games against Wolfsburg and Holstein Kiel. And then they do have a tricky away game at Leverkusen. But at this point, Leverkusen will most likely have nothing to play for. So Dortmund is the team here that's got everything to play for, despite Hoffenheim still theoretically being in that relegation battle. But yeah, if we do look at Dortmund, they have 2 wins from their last 2 home games, which was Gladbach, and then they had an impressive home win against Barcelona. That ended 3-1, but don't forget that Dortmund lost that first game 4-0, so Barcelona had a bit of a margin on Dortmund there. But Dortmund did have, in the last away game, a 2-2 draw at Bayern Munich, so that was a great result. They also beat Freiburg 4-1 away, and then Mainz 3. These were teams that were sitting above Dortmund in the league. It's kind of a sign of where Dortmund has been heading. They did have a dodgy patch of form up until that Leipzig defeat on the 15th of March, because during that period, they had 7 defeats from 11 games, but yeah, now unbeaten in the last 4, and they played some of the better teams in the league. Going into this game at Hoffenheim is going to be interesting. to see how Dortmund will get along, especially considering that we are now back in the fight for the European spots.
Indeed. Yeah, so for this one, again, it's going to be a close game, we think. We've gone for both teams to score prediction again for this one as our tip. Odds there are 1.44. Full-time result, though, we think Dortmund will get the win. Your current odds there, 1.73. We've got there at 365. We've got the best odds on that at the minute. Correct score prediction, we think 2-1 away. So Hoffenheim 1, Dortmund 2. And your odds there are currently 9. That's 8-1 in fractional. Other odds we've got there at the moment, if you like, a home win for Hoffenheim, 4.1, pretty high. Just a bit higher, the draw at 4.33. Let's move on to our summary games now. We've got Wolfsburg in 12 take on Freiburg, who are in 5th. It's on Saturday, the 26th of April, 2:30 UK time kickoff. Check the link in the description of this podcast. You'll find all your localized stuff. You can watch it on Bet365, this one. All you need to qualify for that is funds in your account or to place a bet within the last 24 hours. And when you join, you use the bonus code FP365. Well, we think Wolfsburg might turn this one around. Their recent form has been terrible. But being at home, we've gone for them to win, to beat Freiburg, with both teams to score there. That's our tip, with correct score prediction of Wolfsburg 2, Freiburg 1.
Yeah, moving on to Holstein Kiel in 18th. It takes on Borussia Mönchengladbach in 9th. This game also kicks off on Saturday, 26th of April at 2:30 UK time. And once again, this is a game you can watch on Bet365. In order to qualify, all you need is to have a funded account or to place the bet in the last 24 hours. And when you do sign up, please use that bonus code FP365. Now, Holstein Kiel seems all but down going into this game, and this game could finally relegate them, and that's what we think is going to happen. We're going for a Borussia Mönchengladbach win, both teams to score prediction, and a correct score of Holstein Kiel 1 by Borussia Mönchengladbach 2.
Yes, and next up we've got a very interesting clash. 3rd versus 4th. Frankfurt in 3rd take on Leipzig in 4th. It's on Saturday, the 26th of April, 5:30 p.m. UK time kickoff. And this one is on in the UK. It's available on Sky Sports Football. You can watch it there. But also, if you don't want to pay for that subscription, you can check it on Bet365 to qualify there to stream it. All you need is funds in your account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. And use the bonus code FP365 when you join. Well, it should be very exciting, this one. We think it'll go down to the wire, but we think the home side will be able to nick it. We've gone for both teams to score. That's our tip. But for a final result, we've gone for Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Leipzig 1.
Yes, and then moving on to Sunday, 27th of April at 2:30, we've got Bochum in 17th, who takes on Union Berlin in 13th. Now, for this game, we are throwing a lifeline to Bochum, even though they are on their last breath at the bottom of the Bundesliga. And we're going for a Bochum win, an under 2.5 goal prediction with a correct score of Bochum 1, Union Berlin 0.
And finally, we've got Werder Bremen in 8th, taking on St. Pauli, who are down in 14th. It's on at 4:30 on Sunday, the 27th of April. That's UK time. And for this one, another one where we think it'll be both teams to score. That's our tip. But we've gone for a home win, Werder Bremen 2, St. Pauli 1. And again, this one's also available on live streaming from Bet365. Use the bonus code FP365 upon registration to qualify to watch that game and all of the Bundesliga games. All you need is any funds in your account. Could be €1, £1, or have a bet, place the bet, should I say, in the last 24 hours with them. Geolocation and live streaming rules apply. Full details are available on the Bet365 website, 18 plus gamble aware.
Yes, and in the description area of this podcast, you'll find links to all the fixtures we've just covered, or simply visit footballpredictions.net. The beauty is that you can have a look at all of the online places to watch the games from your location while streaming TV channels, our tips for different betting markets, plus the latest offers and odds.
Yes, please know that we produce podcasts for a number of football competitions in addition to Bundesliga, and you can listen to them at podcast.footballpredictions.net, or, of course, where you get your podcasts from, like Apple, YouTube, and Spotify. That is all. Thanks for listening. And until the next time, it is Auf Wiedersehen. Cheers.
Apple prediction.